You don't think so?
No, no problem. So that's all it's missing is the words to that song?
And also, Huntley and
Good morning. Isn't it great to have a roadie that helps you on the stage? I'm Mark Cooper, a proud member of this spiritual community. I want to welcome you here this Sunday. Let's take a second to turn off your cell phone, pager, beeping device. Karyl will be right back. That's good because I was going to tell a little joke and I didn't want her to hear it. Actually, it's a true story. It's not a joke. This is a true story. I was over in Emeryville, actually not, by Oakland Airport, out by the Hagenburger, and I was going to stop in and get a burger, and this woman approached me in the parking lot, and she looked at me, and she goes, "Would you like a psychic reading?" So I looked back at her and I said, "You're psychic. You tell me." True story. I said, "No thanks." Let's take a second and greet your neighbor. Greet someone that you don't know. Say hello. I got to find someone I don't know.
Mark, the words, right? Oh. Here we go.
hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Out of control.
As Bodhi said, out of control. That's tough. I'm running out of people to meet. Now I feel like I know everyone. The words to our song, our chant, will be up on the board here, and then followed by a message from our very own Reverend Karyl.
I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening. 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 Surrender. I am luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender. I am luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One.
And so, as we turn to prayer on this Sunday following Veterans Day,
I know that the infinite presence of God is the only activity at work anywhere. In and through all circumstances and conditions. In and through the peaceful times and the times of conflict. There is God and only God, the infinite presence, seeking to express itself in fuller, more vibrant, more loving ways in and through all of its creations. And so I am a creation of God. And God seeks to express itself through me in more vibrant and loving ways every moment. The same is true for each person here. And as we celebrate those brave men and women who have fought in conflicts around the world, I claim and know from the bottom of my being that the eternal presence operates in and through and enlivens every warrior, every dreamer, every soldier, every patriot, everyone and anyone who has protected a homeland. And so it is that I claim the highest vision of every soldier, every warrior, that highest vision of a better life for their beloveds, a freer life for their beloveds, a homeland filled with peace and plenty. That higher vision is what transcends every conflict. That higher vision seeks to be made manifest through each one of us. And so it is today that I claim peace and peace alone moves through me. Love and love alone moves through me. And as it is true for me, it can be true for everyone living that vision that was the patriot's dream. So, with great gratitude for all of those patriots in every land and their high vision for a world that works for everyone, I give my thanks and release this prayer now so that it may be made perfectly by the infinite presence. And so it is. Amen. Good morning once again. I'm Reverend Karyl. It's so nice to have you here. And we have wonderful Posey and Robin along with Bodie as our musical guests today. They're just family. They are family standing up here and giving it to us. So please welcome Posey and Robin.
So I'm going to invite you to join in on this next song. Many of you have sung this with us before. Yes, I Can by Tim McAfee Lewis. And you're just going to repeat, yes, I can do it, times 4, and then yes, I can, yes, I can, yes, I can, yes, I can do it. Now, here's the key. She talked about creating world living in love. We don't need a magic ring to do that. It's all within us. So I invite you as you sing with me, that you sing with that commitment of, yes, I can create a world living in love. I can create the world of my dreams. I can have it. So sing with conviction, I invite you, okay? Is that a deal?
Yes,
I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes,
I can. Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can do it. Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes,
Keep it going.
I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes,
Anybody out there believe you can? Anybody out there believe you can? Anybody out there believe you can?
I can do it.
Anybody out there believe you can? Anybody out there believe you can? Anybody out there believe you can?
I can do it. Yes, 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 I can.
Oh,
Yes, I can.
Who can do it?
Yes, I can. I can do it. Yes, I can.
We can have anything we
Yes, I
want.
can.
Whenever we want
Yes,
it, when we
I
say
can.
yes to that
I
indwelling
can
presence.
do it.
It's
Yes,
an inside
I can.
job.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can do it. Yes, 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 I can do it.
I can be it.
do it.
I can live a world living in love and peace.
I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it.
Well, good morning. I'm Reverend Sarah Hargrave, staff minister at this wonderful community. It's time to say goodbye to the children. So from the child within, wave to the children on the stage and know they are off to teach their teachers. And we always have a time for gratitude. So this morning, I'd like to say, how many of you have ever brought a friend with you on a Sunday morning? Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. We are grateful for bringing friends because this is how our community grows, for other people to come and find out how wonderful we are. And we can find out how wonderful they are. Thanksgiving's coming up. There's going to be a community Thanksgiving dinner. The Austins, Jim and Elizabeth Austin, are hosting that at their home. And there's a sign up today at the events table. So if you want to be in a group for Thanksgiving, then that's you want to raise your hand so we know who you are? Okay. And we're looking for a host for Christmas dinner to have a time together. So you may be the person. So when you get the word, let us know. It's not too early to think about it. We do a Homeward Bound event every year where that's for the homeward bound people who are homeless and are in transition to finding a new home. And that's families. And we do a dinner on the 10th. If you'll sign up today, we need people who lead teams, and we also need people who are working on the teams. We also need a lead this year for the holiday giving tree. You know, we always have a tree with the little ornaments on it for people to... Sophie, are you going to be the lead? Okay. Now, how's that for an instant demonstration? And And the bookstore, and speaking of Sophie, there's a bookstore for holiday shopping, and Sophie has a new line of cards that are over there. So you see the rack, those are there. And I went over there this morning, and I was delighted to see that they have a practitioner's corner where there is recommendations from practitioners and ministers, because my favorite book is highlighted, which is Creative Mind and Success by Ernest Holmes. One last thing, Beckwith T-shirts on sale now from $20 to $10. So you can get one for friends and family and gifts, and lots of holiday shopping at the bookstore. Okay, if you are here for the first time, we are so grateful to have you. Your presence is a present to us. You are a gift to us, and we are grateful to have you. So thank you for coming. We hope you feel at home and hope you come back soon and often. I think that's it.
Okay, my turn. So, we are in the next to the last month of the year. Yes? Yes, and the next to the last chapter in this wonderful book that we have been studying all year long, The Art of Possibility. The 11th chapter is called Creating Frameworks for Possibility. And my title today is Creating a Window on the World We Want to See. So I was blessed enough to be able to do the altar today. We have lost a couple of people on our altar team, so if there's anybody else that thinks that they would like to create an altar for us about once every 2 months, come and talk to me, and I will put you in touch with the person who is the lead on that team. But I love it when somebody can't do it because I get to. So this photograph here is from Mykonos. It usually hangs in my kitchen, and it means a lot to me. Today, it is the window on the world that we want to create, that we want to see, because it opens out onto the crashing surf. And water, takes the shape of the container in which it's put. And that is exactly like our thoughts. Our thoughts create the container of our lives. And our lives look and feel a lot like the container of our thoughts. So when we look through a window on a world that we want to see, we are creating that new world by managing our thoughts. And around the photograph are symbols of peace with the Kuan Yin and the peace pole, love, the heart, and abundance with the pot of gold. So this talk was inspired by this one sentence from this book. We can open a window on a world where all is sound. Our creative powers are formidable, and unseen threads connect us all. When I read that sentence, not only did I want to do a whole talk about it, but it is also reflective of our philosophy, the science of mind philosophy. All is sound because everything is made by God. And well, that's self-evident. God makes things that are sound. Our creative powers are formidable because our thoughts do the creating for us in conjunction with what we call the creative law, which is that activity of God that takes our thoughts and makes them into things. And then the unseen threads connect us all is also exactly the first quality of our philosophy, which is oneness. We are all connected. You're connected to those you love, and you're connected to those that you can't stand. But nevertheless, they become our greatest teachers because, let me tell you, we're not going to get to absolute transformation and be able to say, I have reached nirvana, I have transcended all limitations, and I still have maintained my hatred of just one or two. We won't be able to say that. We won't. So, we are always looking out of some window. And that window is our consciousness. We are looking out from a set of beliefs, and that becomes our filter for what we notice and what we say that noticing means. So, do we notice at home a family member not putting the socks away and not putting the lid on the toothpaste, or do we notice when they do something nurturing for us? Do we notice the financial news and how dire it all sounds? Or do we notice the gifts that are continuously being given to us in our lives all the time, all the time? So the window that we see out of makes us available for certain ideas and makes us blind to other ideas. So it's our work. I mean, the world out here is really just a creation of what is in here. So what we see, what we notice, and what we are curious about become those things that our life is made up of. And so if you come here and you say, well, I'm not really at that completely positive place yet, but I sure am curious about it, that is all that God needs. We will just take that and you can transform your life with that. In the Science of Mind textbook, this is the wonderful tome written by our founder, Ernest Holmes, and it's used in pretty much all of the accredited classes that we teach. He wrote this: we are all immersed in the atmosphere of our own thinking. We're immersed, just like underwater. We are immersed in the atmosphere of our own thinking, which is the direct result of all we've ever said, thought, or done. This decides what is to take place in our lives. This history of everything we've thought and said and done is the creative force that decides what is to take place in our lives. Thought attracts what is like itself and repels what is unlike. We are drawn toward those things which we mentally image. Now it could not be clearer. We are drawn toward those things which we mentally image. And so our work is to image and notice and create and recreate in our minds the conditions and the ways of being that we want more of. And when we put our attention to them, it creates more of it. That's why the window here is on peace, love, and abundance. Who doesn't want all of that? Who does want all of that? Okay, good. So, there's a practice in this chapter that's very important, and it's called the Framing Possibility Practice. And it says here, the practice of this chapter is to invent and sustain frameworks that bring forth possibility. If you can't see them, invent them. That's why you have that wonderful faculty in your mind called imagination. You can invent it. It is about restructuring meanings, creating visions, and establishing environments where possibility is spoken, where the buoyant force of possibility overcomes the pull of the downward spiral. Now, previously in this book, they have talked about this downward spiral. Now, the downward spiral happens when you watch the news with somebody and you go, oh, can you believe that? Can you believe those banks? Can you believe that? Look at that Republican. Look at that Democrat. You know, all that spiral downward is creative. You feel pretty crappy, I think, when you're doing it. And it creates more of that in your life. And what this is saying is that we can create frameworks of possibility. And actually, this is exactly what practitioners do. Practitioners are trained to offer you, they don't really call it a framework for possibility like these authors do, but that's what they do. You come to a practitioner with what you think is a problem or a condition that doesn't make you feel very good, and what they will do is say, would you be willing to see that in a different way? If I can paint this picture for you, would you be willing to step into it? Would you be willing to have this not be a problem anymore and instead be a possibility? That's what they do for you. Every single person who has an issue should be working with a practitioner. So, this is the same practice that I'm going to talk to you about that the authors have created, and it's in slightly different words, which is marvelous because when we have the same truth in different words, it hits people in a different way. You know, you've been raised with certain words, and maybe, you know, a lot of people come to us and the word God is kind of has some negative connotations. So that's why we use the word spirit. That's why we use all originating source. And other words like that, so that we can, reach everybody with the truth. So, here we go. Framing the possibility practice. The first thing we do is to distinguish a new possibility. So instead of the conversation about the banks failing and real estate being in dire straits, we speak about the possibility that we live in a universe of abundance. And every single person, whether they have money in their wallet or not, can say, yes, the world is abundant with ideas. That is God's currency. Abundant with new, and you can have a new idea. In fact, I affirm and claim and know that every single person right here this morning is going to have a new idea that if they implement it in their lives will make their lives better, and you can have that today. Okay? For you, a special today. A new idea. So, this new possibility, this new idea is really a revelation to people who have been caught by that downward spiral. So we distinguish a new possibility. That's exactly what happens in the spiritual mind treatment, by the way, that's taught in every class. That's our affirmative form of prayer. And we create a new possibility in every single prayer. And that's all, prayer does nothing to God. Are you aware of that? You cannot talk God into giving you anything. So what prayer does is it changes our mind. And spiritual mind treatment structures a new possibility for us. That's why it's so powerful. So then the next thing you do is you step into this reality that you've envisioned. You enter the territory. This is what it says. Enter the territory, embody the new distinction in such a way that it becomes the framework for life around you. That you just say to yourself, I am stepping into a reality of love. I am stepping into a reality of abundance. I am stepping into a reality of peace. And then you just keep on track. You just you repeat if necessary. In the Buddhist tradition, there's the Eightfold Path, and if you do these 8 practices over and over and over and over and over again, you can free yourself from the wheel of reincarnation. That is what they believe, and that when we free ourselves from the repetitive life cycle, then we are in nirvana. We are in heaven all the time. So one of the tenets of the Eightfold Path is right momentum. And that's what this means. When you stay on track, you keep doing what you know to do. You keep letting your dream lead you. You keep doing affirmative prayer. You keep looking at the good and praising it. And you keep counsel with yourself about what conversations you have. And so that's called right momentum. Mary Morrissey, who is the author of this marvelous class I want all of you to take called Prosperity Plus, she says it really easily. She goes, you will come to know what's it and not it. It and not it. Now what that means is, when you are in a conversation or you have a possibility in front of you, it will resonate with your dream or not. And you will be able to feel it very clearly. Everybody has their own little barometer inside. And if it's it, that's good. You keep on that track. If it's not it, you don't take more steps in that direction. You don't keep digging the hole if the hole doesn't, is not your dream. So Holmes, our founder Ernest Holmes said, turn away from the condition. That's the same thing. If the condition is not to your liking, then don't keep looking at it, talking about it, chewing on it, worrying about it, telling other people about it when they ask you, how are you? Oh, and go over it again. That is looking at the condition and keeping looking at the condition. And what will you get? What will you get? More of the same. Absolutely. So we have two wonderful practices that are a part of pretty much everything we do here. And I want to make a distinction because they sound similar. One is visioning and one is visualizing. Visioning, if you went to hear Michael Beckwith, is a very powerful listening practice. It's where you align your heart, open your heart. That opening song that we sang, I'm opening up in sweet surrender, is so great. You just do that for a half an hour and then ask God a question and zoom, it will come in. So that is getting yourself in a state of absolute unconditional love and then saying, what is the highest vision for this project? What is the highest vision for my life? What is the most loving thing I can do in this relationship right now? What is the next step that I need to take in my venture, whatever that is? And then you listen. You don't imagine what it is. You don't put your mind in the track of answering your own question because, you and your best thoughts have gotten you here. And what you want is a better thought. And the better thought comes from the infinite mind, which has all of the great thoughts. So you open up and ask that question, envisioning, and then you wait. And maybe you do that a few times until you sort of get a consistent answer that is it. That feels good. Now, that's visioning. Visualizing is when you've got it. You have got the vision, and it isn't quite manifest yet. Then visualizing is taught by sales managers, it's taught by coaches, both performance coaches and athletic coaches. It is practicing in your mind the very, very best that you can imagine. That is visualizing. And both of those are internal practices that are extremely powerful for the work that we're doing here. So when you look at the framing possibility practices, distinguish a new possibility, enter the territory, and keep on track, we've got some examples for you, and they're very, very simple. So recently I was serving juice at a function, and I was standing with a woman, I didn't know her, and she was in real estate. And so I said, well, how's it going? Well, and so, she was telling me how it is, for her. And it wasn't pretty. And how she had to work twice as hard for half as much. And, I've heard that one before. And so I just turned to her and I said, well, all you really need is one villa. And she looked at me like, wow, I really like that thought. That was distinguishing a new possibility. And I could see her selling a villa, with a great big winery attached to it. I had stepped into that possibility. And if she stayed in that possibility, her little picture would be on the sold thing of the vineyard. So another example is that we recently finished up our abundance program. And we had a core council meeting at about the second week out of 3. We had, this was a quick abundance program this year. And so we were at $71,000, which was not enough. And so we were at the core council meeting. Well, we got to get a lot more pledges here and all this. And Susie Coide on our core council, she just sat there and she said, "I'm holding out for $240,000." That's all she said. We were talking about everything, making calls. I'm holding out for $240,000. That's what she did. So We ended up at $253,000. That's all of us. All of us. So we had a fundraising, a wonderful, fun and fundraising team meeting this week, and we were talking about these things. And Rick had this great example. Now Rick is a practitioner, and his treatments do not have the flowery words that us ladies have. And he has assisted me in foundations before, and his examples are masculine, manly. So he's got a story about this.
You go, Rick.
Thank you, Posey. When we have practitioner retreats, they ask, well, who's your clientele? And being the wise ass that I am, I tell them, well, I'm the practitioner to the bar crowd in Fairfax. Due to the nature of my work, I end up at some of these fine watering holes and so on. And between breaks and playing sets and so on, we all gather outside and people start talking. Well, in this one particular instance, somebody was highly offended by something and started really just dumping on this particular person. And everybody started feeding the energy around the table. They were calling this person everything but a child of God. And so finally, everyone at the table had spoken, and they said, Rick, what do you think? And I looked at the person who started, and I said, I think that you are big enough and grand enough to stand by yourself without having to put somebody else down to make yourself feel good about yourself. Well, silence is golden. So, just take the philosophy, put it in your center, and live it.
Well, that's it. You can all go home now, but I do have another great story. The examples that we gave are kind of retorts. That we can offer a new possibility just in conversation. But what happens if you have an ongoing relationship and you have stuff, you have ups and downs, you have things that annoy you and things go wrong, and then you can't just have a little retort and then go home. I mean, you are home. So, in the book they have this fabulous story, and I'm going to read a little bit about it, and then I'm going to shorten it some too. So remember that the author here is a symphony conductor, and he was on a tour in 1997 to Brazil with the New England Conservatory Youth Philharmonic. And they gave their first big public concert in Teatro Municipal in Sao Paulo after 3 exhausting days of rehearsing, sightseeing, and touring. The house was filled to capacity. The enthusiasm of the warm-hearted, passionate Brazilian audience was overwhelming. And so they did this great concert, and there was someone in the audience who everybody in the audience just loved it so much. And then the kids had to get sleep because they had another whole performance the next day, and they had rules because they had signed an agreement. But so what happened was that the next morning he received an angry note from a guest saying that he had been woken by a group of noisy musicians. Several other guests had been disturbed as well. The hotel staff informed us. 4 students were found on the roof after 3 a.m., and 4 others were picked up in an unsavory part of town in the early hours of the morning by a security squad of their sponsor. And so the chaperones were all over Ben punish these kids and to forbid them, of playing punish them in some way. And so he asked the question to himself, what distinction shall we make here that will bring possibility to the situation? A broken contract points to the dualism of good and bad and leads to the downward spiral. So he wanted to find how he could re-inspire purpose, commitment, and vision. Those are the distinctions that radiate possibility. So when the kids came into the rehearsal the next day, they were exhausted because they'd been up all night, and they were also wary because they were afraid of being punished because they knew that he really screwed up. So the conductor said, last night after the concert, I began, a woman came to me and told me with absolute honesty that the 2 hours she spent listening to Mahler's Fifth Symphony had been the most beautiful 2 hours of her entire life. Well, that was the opener of the punishment talk. And then he said, we came to give this to the people of Brazil, and what else did we come for? And so they started popcorning, what they came here for. They came to make great music a way of communicating friendship and love. They came to show respect for Brazil, that teenagers can make great music, that music can be fun, that we're happy to be here. All infinite possibilities. And so all he said was, we got off track. You have to know where the track is to get back on. And you've just expressed it beautifully. I know, isn't that? How would you have liked the discipline in your life to have been like that? To always point to possibility instead of the dichotomy of good and bad. So, if you were raised with the model of punishment, then you have it in you. And it's very easy for you to do it to yourself. And so many of us run this whole thing of guilt and punishment and comparison and shame instead of just looking to the possibility. So this next frame, we'll go through it quickly, is personal possibility practice. For you to do this for yourself. And it actually takes quite a bit of dedication, especially if that punishment model is deeply rooted. So the first thing you do is open a window. What is the window that you want to look through? You don't want to look through the guilt and shame window. You don't want to look through the comparison and punishment window. What could you look at instead? When this is not it, in here, what would be it? Is it love? Is it compassion? Is it seeing yourself as the capable miracle of God that you are? Then you describe what you wish to see. So I wish to see abundance. I would love it if love were in every aspect of my life. I love it that I notice peace. And I notice when other people are peaceful with each other. Then you take an action. It doesn't matter what the action is. It's just that when you realize something and you don't do anything about it, all it is interesting. It doesn't make changes in your life. You have to act on it. So if you want love in your life and it looks like the first thing you need to do is wash the dishes, then you wash the dishes in the name of love. And it works perfectly. And then you keep going. You keep that momentum going. So this is your practice for this week, is to open a window, describe what you wish to see, and take an action. And do it again. So we have a moment here to do a traditional honoring of the veterans. And before I ask the veterans to come up, I want to describe the world that I see through my window. I see a world in which the armed forces become the assisting forces. And that every country has a national organization that helps within that country and abroad. That there is no need for conflict resolution. There are just needs for better solutions. And this assisting force of every country goes out and figures out what the possibilities are and what the solutions are. I see a world in which there is a vibrant sharing of resources, both products and people. And I see a world in which there is an understanding that we really are all one family, that we're all cousins. There is no one that is our enemy. I hold nothing against any person in the world. And as I was thinking this for myself, I was really proud because the vision of our whole movement, the Centers for Spiritual Living, there is a global heart vision, and it goes like this, in part. We see a world free of homelessness, violence, war, hunger, separation, and disenfranchisement. We see a world in which there is generous and continuous sharing of heart and resources. We envision a world in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. We see a world in which borders are irrelevant. We see a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. This is the world we're creating. And so, on the way to creating that world, we have had brave men and women who have left their homes to make the world a better place. So I would like all of the veterans to come forward and just make a line right here, if you would. Facing that way. Not yet. Okay. Chet, can you... Bill's the first. Can you speak for Bill, please? So I'm going to pass the microphone, and I am going to come out front here because I want to see you too.
Is it on?
I'd like your name and where you served and when.
Your name?
Bill Walker.
He served in the Navy during the Korean War. Then he received a law degree later and became a naval lawyer and served in Italy.
Tom Barr. And I served in Vietnam from October of 68 to December of 69. And I was in the Army, Artillery in Pleiku, Vietnam, and I was also in a program. It was a civic action program, and I was able to live with natives for 7 months. And it was a real positive experience for a war.
I'm Doug Sly. I served on the USS Independence aircraft carrier as a radarman from 59 through 64.
Jeff Reese. I was in the Air Force. I was in Missile Command, and we developed the first commercial computers that were adapted for all of the banking systems everywhere in the world back in 1962, 3, and 4.
I'm Bob Plath, and I served in World War II, 1944 to 46, and I also served during the Korean War. With the Coast Guard, I skippered my own 83-foot boat. Thank you.
Jim Austin, Korea, on a naval destroyer in the 50s.
Bob Gordon, I was in the Korean War. I was in the Counterintelligence Corps from 54 to 56. And if I could take a minute here, I recently did my little ukulele act at the San Francisco Veterans Administration last Monday. And Nancy Pelosi was there doing a tour of the Veterans Administration. And she went up to every single veteran in a wheelchair, some missing limbs, but the spirit was really good. And she said to every single veteran, "Thank you for serving our country," and she shook his hand or her hand. And it was a really remarkable experience.
Gene Langell, U.S. Navy, 50 to 54, and 2 years I was a chaplain's assistant.
Joan Richardson, and I was in the reserves for 4 years, and I was at the Presidio as a nurse and also taught for the reserves basic medical corpsman course for a year.
I'm David Dahl. I was in the U.S. Coast Guard from 1973 to 1977. I trained in Cape May, New Jersey and Petaluma. And then I served in search and rescue support in Kodiak, Alaska for 2.5 years. And I was on hurricane patrol on the Coast Guard Cutter Reliance out of Yorktown, Virginia, and the Coast Guard Cutter Taney out of Portsmouth, Virginia.
I'm Brent Davis. I served in the Air Force from 66 through 70. I served as a hospital pharmacist.
Somebody was stepping in. I'm Fred Gilson. I was in the Navy, served in the Navy from 64 to 71. I dodged bullets in Vietnam too, but that part of life is over.
You flew F-4s.
Yeah, I was a pilot too for a while.
He tends to forget that. Stan Ellickson, I served during Korea on the small seaplane tender USS Orca AVP 49. I had 2 years active duty. Didn't see any action, which is okay, and 28 in the reserves, retired as a captain.
So if you would just stay up there for a moment, and all of us would like to extend our gratitude to you, our thanks, our amazing vision of your courage. And if you would all repeat after me. Thank you for protecting us.
Thank you for protecting us.
Until there is no need for protection.
Until there is no need for protection.
And now we're going to sing you a song.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world.
Thank you. Can we take your seats again?
Thank you.
So Jeff, you make these, don't you? These peace poles?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to just...
Yeah, just give him the mic for just a sec, Bodie.
Thank you for your acknowledgement. Thank you for your tears. And to have you know that, how many people have seen a peace pole, four-sided peace pole? May peace prevail on earth. There are over 400,000 of these, this size on up to this size, and almost 20% of the people on our teams are retired veterans who have decided they are putting an end to war. And when we get together, we don't talk about who was injured, where they served, but how they could make a difference. And now there are 9 cities in the world producing peace poles with 75 language plaques that are going all over the world. And I was talking to Bob Plath, Bob, raise your hand, about forgiveness and community building. And thank you very much for allowing me to have a moment. In May of next year, 35,000 Rotarians will be at the International Conference in Bangkok. I've been invited on the podium to present a peace pole to the President of Rotary International, which is the largest nonprofit of its kind in the world, larger than the Red Cross. The President will put a peace pole in his office. So I'm humbled that all of you will just take a moment and acknowledge all that we have done so we can be here in peace every Sunday morning and express ourselves freely. Thank you so much, Reverend Karyl.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals. Love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, sing with us, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals. Love that sets us free. There is only love. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry just fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals. Love that sets us free. There is only love. Only love.
Would the ushers please get ready? And as we prepare our tithes and offerings, give into this vision that we have seen this morning. This window that we have looked through for a world that works for everyone. A world free of all conflict. A world in which everyone lives as brother and sister. So would the ushers please receive the gifts.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so
And so we bless this offering here today, the loving hearts that gave into this vision, and knowing that love and dedication, vision, and all that we can give make this vision a reality as we follow it with action. Blessed be. Okay. What a great just sliding into Thanksgiving we're having here. Next Sunday will be our special Thanksgiving service. And so it'll be marvelous. And we have an amazing German choir that are going to sing. Willem Derjant sings in a German choir. And so we're going to have these wonderful old Germans singing to us. It will be magical. So I'd like to ask the practitioners to come forward, and these are the people who can frame your new reality for you. And Reverend Sarah will pray us out now.
These practitioners are professionals that are normally paid for their services, but they volunteer to pray with you every Sunday. So join me in prayer. We give thanks for the awareness that Spirit is truly all there is, by whatever name we call it. Infinite intelligence guiding and directing us. And the nature of Spirit is love and law. So we know we are constantly immersed in a healing pool of Spirit's love and support and guidance. And we affirm right now that there is also a law that acts upon our thoughts and our minds. And whatever we turn our attention to, it responds and says yes. So we speak our word right now for whatever is on our hearts and minds, what our hearts are yearning for and pulling us toward. We give thanks for and recognize and say, yes, this is it. And we hold this in our minds, in our consciousness, in our intentions. And Spirit does its work as we are guided to action each step of the way. So we just relax into that wonderful cycle of intention and acceptance. And know that whatever is on your hearts and minds is already complete in the mind of God and unfolding right now in your experience in ever greater ways. Knowing that each of us is guided and directed as to what to do or not to do at the very moment that it's appropriate. And so we just relax into that awareness, relax into that love, relax into the oneness of all, and simply say thank you, and wait for wonderful reports and delightful surprises. And so it is. Amen.
If you would all please stand for our affirmation. The world I want to see is close at hand. That world of love, plenty, connection, peace, and beauty. As I see it, feel it, and describe it, it becomes real. As I move toward it, I co-create it. It is right here, right now.